Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD, wanted to hear back in PlayStation Source, and I know it's been a few days, my bad, I have work and everything, I do have a side job, but if you want to help me get out of that side job, feel free to like, subscribe, share with your friends, all the good stuff, show out support, leave those comments, much appreciated, all those things. But we got to talk about what was announced at the State of Play, and one specific thing that was detailed a lot more was, of course, Death Stranding Director's Cut for the PS5, and so we got some new things here from this trailer, and we got some things that also, I don't think a lot of people are talking about, but some really cool story stuff that was actually buried in this trailer that I will go over as well. But we're gonna go over the entire director's cut, you know, just what you're gonna get with it, when you're gonna get it, how you're gonna get it, and what possibly could be inside this director's cut with the new story content and all that great stuff. So before we get into it, once again, leave a like, links down below in the description to our Twitter and our Discord as well. Join the community, all that great stuff. Let's get right into it. So let's start with when we will be getting our hands on Death Stranding Director's Cut. That is, of course, releasing September 24th, 2021, and the upgrade path this time is actually straightforward. It's not crazy, there's no hullabaloo. All it is if you own PS4 Death Stranding digitally, and I believe physically, I'm not sure the physical side of it because I own it digitally and I was doing some research. I just got confirmations that it will be available in the physical version, but I'm not sure how they're gonna do it. Alright, what's good? TKD from the editing booth here, and you know, I said in the video that I wasn't sure how it was gonna work if you have a physical version of Death Stranding on PS4. However, it was in the blog, I just didn't look in the minor details, apologies in that, but let's read it out here. So it says here, owners of a PS4 disc copy must insert the disc into the PS5 every time they want to download or play the PS5 digital version of the game, which you can then play while your PS4 disc is in the drive. So that's all you have to do essentially. You just put in your Death Stranding PS4 physical copy into your PS5 and you'll be able to access the digital director's cut of the PS5 version. That makes a lot of sense there, all fine and dandy. However, of course, if you do own a PS5 digital edition like myself, you will obviously not be able to do this because you can't put in the PS4 disc, and so at that point you're probably gonna have to just buy another copy, which, yeah, that does suck. But also, you know, if you had a PS4 physical disc that you wanted to play eventually, right, why would you buy a digital version? But you know, that's not here or there, that's what it is. Yeah, so let's get right back to the video. But you will be able to upgrade to the director's cut for $10, and this will include the extra story missions, the upgraded PS5 goodies if you have a PS5, and all that great stuff. That's it, zilch nada. So that is pretty much all it goes right there, $10, and you get to do it. And honestly, you know, it does, you know, make the Ghost of Tsushima whole debacle look a little bit more interesting when we have Death Stranding here just for $10 for the PS5 upgrade for director's cut. But that is a whole other topic. Speaking of, you will also be getting with that $10 upgrade not just the regular director's cut, I believe there is one that exists like that, but you will be getting specifically the director's cut deluxe digital edition with this whole thing. And so you'll be getting a bunch of different goodies here. They're up on screen if you want to pause, but there's some soundtracks, there's some avatars, there's some in-game items and stickers and stuff like that, so you can pause the video to check out this whole little, you know, nice artwork here. But that is what you'll be getting with the $10. Now, what does it exactly come with for PS5 specifically in terms of upgrade? So they say here for the PS5 features, you will be able to experience environment effects with the DualSense wireless controller's haptic feedback. That's cool and all, but you'll also get closer to the world of Death Stranding with bespoke adaptive trigger resistance. This is what I'm talking about here, okay? This is why I was hoping that Death Stranding would get an upgrade, because those adaptive triggers, I've talked about a ton on the channel, but those adaptive triggers are going to be able to make you having to like balance Sam as he's going downhill to be so fun and so cool. I cannot wait to see how that feels in Death Stranding. Can't wait for that. You'll also be able to hear sound effects come to life in 3D audio, but this does of course require a compatible headphones. Get into the action quickly with the PS5's console's ultra fast SSD and near instant load times, which honestly I kind of forgot how Death Stranding loaded. I think there was like an initial load in the beginning that was pretty long, but I think once you got into the game everything ran pretty smoothly. So I think it's just going to be just maybe that initial load, or if there are loading times I'm totally forgetting running in the game. Sorry about that, but it'll be a faster loading game. Y'all know the drill for that. There's also going to be these 2 different picture modes. We'll be getting performance mode with upscaled 4K and up to 60 frames per second, or fidelity mode, which is native 4K, which will probably, just run at around 30 frames, I'm assuming, and stuff like that. But both of these modes will also have ultra wide support and HDR support as well. So definitely cool on that front. You'll be able to experience the game in HDR if you have that, ultra wide support if you have that. That's all great and dandy on both different modes. You know me, I'm gonna go to that performance mode. I want that, 60 frames, of course. Yes, I love 4K, but that 60 frames is way more important to me. And with the upscale 4K has looked great overall in my experience, so I'm all good with the performance mode. Give me that. They also did confirm here on the blog that you will be able to transfer your PS4 to PS5 save as well, so that's all confirmed, all dandy. Not sure if it's going to be a separate client where Death Stranding PS4 will update and you'll have to send your save up to the cloud and do all that good stuff, or maybe this PS5 game will just naturally read your PS4 save. That could also be an option. We have been seeing that option grow and grow as developers have been able to kind of fine tune the way the saves go and everything, and how the PS5 reads PS4 saves, right? So it could be either way. Who knows? We'll have more details on that later on in the future. But let's go into the new content here involving what we'll be actually getting in the Director's Cut. Okay, so first up here, let's talk about more weapons. Okay, they do, cite an upgraded melee. It looks like you'll be able to kick homies and, just do better melee and stuff like that. Once again, and we'll see a trend here that what they did here with this game essentially is they brought in a lot of elements, I feel, from Metal Gear Solid to kind of make the game feel a little bit more better in terms of, just doing like essentially, traversal environmental puzzles, right? Where you're going to be able to do a little more combat in the Director's Cut as opposed to what you did in the initial first game. So we do have upgraded melee, that's cool and all. We now have this new gun called the Mazer gun, which looks like it just shoots lightning and maybe just stuns enemies for a while and everything and leaves them, incapacitated but not dead, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to that, very much like Wunderwaffe DG2 vibes, shout out to that. But we also have mounted machine guns as well, which definitely remind me of Metal Gear Solid 5, where there was plenty of mounted guns that you can, use and take back to Mother Base and all that good stuff. So of course, I do have questions about, are you actually killing them with the Mazer gun? Maybe you're just stunning them, and maybe like the mounted machine gun has like rubber bullets in them, like I know that was a whole element in Death Stranding, but I do wonder, if you're like straight up killing these enemies or you're just stunning them now, like, because of course, if you guys play Death Stranding, killing is very much something that you don't want to do in that game, and I assume that we're just stunning them and just, knocking them out and just making them incapacitated. That's just my guess, but who knows? Okay, let's go on to some more equipment here. We have the cargo catapult, which is definitely going to make your life of just having a bunch of cargo that fell down the river and you're having a hard time, just moving cargo from point A to point B, a lot more easy with this catapult. It looks like it gets enclosed in this, protective shell, so there seems to be a system where you won't be able to have a lot of damage, that would befall the cargo in the catapult. We'll have to see that all pans out. I think it's a super cool idea. We also have this new thing called the support skeleton. My guess is that this is like the chicken hat from MGS5 once again, where, if you're having a little bit of a hard time, I know a lot of people were complaining that, cargo would just fall and just damage and you get a bad ranking, or, sandport or bridges would fall too easily. I know a lot of people complained about that. Maybe the support skeleton is like the ultimate, just, hey, put it on and just walk to the point where you need to drop off this cargo and you'll be fine. I bet that's what it is. That's my guess, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's another way, and maybe it, is a different form factor, like with the speed skeleton or the power skeleton. Maybe there's a different, thing for the, support skeleton, but we'll have to see when the game comes out. My guess is it's like a chicken hat. It's like a get free card to just carry cargo from point A to point B. We do have a buddy bot now, which, tell me this doesn't look like the dwarf geckos from MGS4. Come on now, man. Come on. Tell me it doesn't, but it looks like you'll be able to load up more cargo on this buddy bot, which this does remind me of the little sidecar that you can get that will just like levitate and just follow you in Death Stranding. That's kind of what I feel this is, but just maybe like a little bit more sophisticated. Maybe the buddy bot will like avoid different things and stuff like that. Who knows? But we also have jump ramps, which, yo, let's go. Jump ramps, bro, this was the biggest thing, right? Getting around certain craters on the map in the like near kind of the starting area, right? Not later on in the game, but more so in the beginning of the map where there's a bunch of rocky terrain and everything. Sometimes getting across gaps was completely infuriating. So having these jump ramps is gonna be super cool. Maybe we'll have players in your world lay them out in, you know, really cool areas. I think that's a very, very good thing to add. Super excited for jump ramps as well. We do have more vehicles that seem to be only shown in the fragile, racing circuit, which we do have to talk about that later on. But there seems to be some cool, you know, cars and everything there. But let's jump straight, of course, to the new modes. We will have the fragile circuit racing mode. Once again, I'm not sure how this plays into fragile story. I'm sure it will at some point, and it all makes sense once we play it. But fragile does have this racing circuit where, according to the trailer, there's 12 races available. Maybe there's more, but just at least in the trailer, that's what was available on the trailer. And it looks like you're racing other ghosts seemingly. So you're not playing with other people, right? Because of course you are meant to be alone in Death Stranding as a player, but maybe you're racing other people on the server and different stuff like that. And you can toggle weather conditions and everything and do a bunch of different features and tweaks to the races. So this seems pretty cool. You know, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it's fun. I'll definitely check it out and let you guys know definitely when the game comes out. But there's also UI enhancements, which they did not really point out which ones were changed and everything. So maybe we'll see that in the full game, but there are UI changes to Death Stranding with the director's cut. But let's go into some juicy stuff here. Okay, so we got the new areas here. Okay, so the new areas, there's also a firing range as well, which is pretty cool, right? You'll be able to try out a bunch of different weapons and everything, and maybe how, you know, viable they are. And of course, this does remind me of, yes, Metal Gear Solid 5, of course. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing it on stream. Y'all should, you know, watch that. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost done with the game, but definitely cool stuff to bring in firing range, because pretty cool just to bring it in there. Why not? Let's do it. If they're adding more combat and everything, this seems like a very straightforward thing to add to the director's cut. There's also other environments in the new story missions that they showed really quickly at the end of the trailer. So there's this overgrown area that seems to lead somewhere. Like there seems to be a cave, which I think that this concrete cave type thing could lead to the underground areas that we saw in the initial tease at Summer Games Fest, where we saw director's cut for the first time. And so I think this is definitely where it's leading, because if you see that trailer, there are different, like, you know, stalactite, like rock type things that are dripping from the ceiling and onto the ground itself. So I think that, you know, you given that account, I think that, you know, we are in an underground area that this cave could be leading towards. Let me know, guys, what you think. If you think I'm wrong, definitely let me know down below in the comment section. I'm very curious as to where this is at specifically. But we do get some more stuff involving the new story missions with expanded storylines, which they did confirm that here in the blog as well. But we see this flashing section of a bunch of BB containers on the ground, and one of them says prototype. So now I'm thinking, like, okay, are we going to talk a little bit more about the origins of humanity finding the Death Stranding and trying to figure out what it is? Is this the initial starting point of the BB project, and maybe this is them testing out the BB, like, you know, containers, and this was a prototype of that whole remnants? Like, are we going to the history of this whole thing? I'm very curious about that as well. We also see this ominous graveyard with blue flowers that, you know, the like graves say, like, hey, my beloved son, my beloved daughter. Very curious about that. We also are followed by Sam fighting what looks like the lab flashbacks from the original game, where Mads Mikkelsen's character definitely was prominent in those sections, but maybe there's some more combat that we'll be able to do in those sections as well in director's cut. But lastly here, the one that really piqued my interest was there were multiple shots of this older woman, right? Like not super old, but, you know, I'll say maybe like, you know, maybe early 50s, late 40s, you know what I'm saying? She got a little gray hair, short haircut, you know what I'm saying? But there's a little girl on her lap as well. So I was thinking initially, could this be Bridget Strand in that age demographic where, you know, definitely we see Bridget Strand in the beginning of the game. She's definitely older. She is definitely undergoing a super serious illness and her health isn't the best. Here, she's a little bit more healthier, a little bit younger. So could this be Bridget Strand, or is this a new character that they're going to unveil in director's cut? Or if you guys know firsthand and I just didn't find the answer, let me know down below. What are your thoughts? What do you feel about this woman, this kid? What are your thoughts down below? But lastly, or just quickly, we didn't get a lot of info about this, but there are going to be new online features, including this thing called Friend Play, which they did not say what it was, and leaderboards as well. So we'll have more news on that coming soon. They did confirm that we're going to have these things called friend play and leaderboards that all blend into the online features of Death Stranding, which is of course very important to your playthrough overall. And they did end off that with the PC release of Death Stranding, there was content centered around Half-Life and Cyberpunk 2077 that never saw its way to the console release of Death Stranding. That content will be making its way to the director's cut on PS5. Pretty cool right there if you guys wanted to get that Half-Life and Cyberpunk 2077 content and you never got your hands on the PC release. So that is about it, guys. Let me know your thoughts about all this content that is being added to director's cut. Overall, I think this is going to be well worth $10, definitely for sure. And if you never checked out Death Stranding, this is definitely the time to do it here come September for the PS5. So definitely I'm excited for it, but let me know, guys, down below what are your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you wish was added? What do you wish wasn't added? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, check out our description where you can find links to our Discord, our Twitter, and the Anchor link. That way you can listen to our long form content and podcast format. Those of course being Save Slot Podcast every single Sunday 10 a.m. Definitely get hyped for that. Streams across the week here on the channel, and of course everything else in terms of video content moving forward. I'm going to be talking about arcade again this week as well, a bunch of other things. Definitely check it out. Keep it locked here on Plays and Source. Stay subscribed and like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.